Hello everyone, welcome, and this is Streets of Rage. Going to overview this game. This city was once a happy, peaceful place until one day a powerful secret criminal organisation took over. This vicious syndicate soon had control of the government and even the police force. The city has become a centre of violence and crime where no one is safe. I'm not going to read all of this, but these are the Streets of Rage, and we have our three heroes in this game, who I'll get to in a moment, and I just want to say something about this game. I think this game is really good. Here we have our characters: Adam Hunter, Blaze Fielding, and Axel Stone. All of them in their early 20s. And together we make Streets of Rage! Okay, that's not the name of the group, I don't think, at least. But what the game's called. So here we have our options. We can either play one player, two player, or we have the options to have a look at. So let's have a look at the options. Very simple options. We have a sound test where you can listen to the different music. Games don't seem to do this anymore. They used to do this all the time, but they don't do this now. I wonder what's caused that trend to stop. So here we have the round one music. One of my favourite tracks in the game. I just want to point out that I do think this game has a really good atmosphere to it. The music's really well fitting, and as much as people can criticise the Genesis sound chip, I think it works really well with this game in particular. I don't know, I can't explain, it just seems to work really well. But round one is one of my favourite pieces of music. Another one of my favourites is round three. Not this intro bit. So yeah, there you have the sound test. Yeah, they had a sound test in Sonic 2, and I think it was just like a generational thing where, I mean, it's not really testing the sounds, is it? Because it's, would you need it to test to see if the sounds work? Because they never didn't work, so is it just there for your listening pleasure? Either way, I do enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to stop singing now. For all of you who are still viewing, we have other options, such as how difficult you want the game to be. So you got normal, easy, hardest, hard, and normal still. I wonder why there's two harder modes for only one easy mode. I'm not sure. Then we have the controls. So A for special attack, B to attack, and C to jump. Very, very simple, basic stuff. This is a beat-em-up game after all, so you don't need many complex controls. Anyway, there's only one of me here, so I'm just going to go into one player. But I will talk about the two-player mode when I get to it. And here we have our character selection screen. And you can choose one of the three main characters. Here we have Adam, we also have Axel, and we have Blaze. And as you can see, they have different stats here, although ranked by letter as opposed to actual numbers. So Adam has good power, good jump, and B rank speed, so he's actually the slow character of the group. Axel, in the meantime, has good power, good speed, but a bad jump. So his jump attack is pretty bad compared to the others. I'd actually consider Axel to be my least favourite character of this game, mostly because the jump attack can be really useful. And then we have Blaze, who she has good jump and good speed, but her general power is lacking. So what I actually find quite interesting about this game, as opposed to other games, is that characters aren't so much determined by their individual strengths as there are their weaknesses, and that's quite an unusual thing. Usually it's you've got like, say if you've got a team of superheroes, you've got one who's fast, one who's strong, you know, they've all got different powers, whereas this, I mean, they're all good fighters, don't get me wrong, but what makes them different is where they lack, and I think that's quite neat. So I'm going to go through each of the characters just to display how they play, but first of all, I'm going to select Adam, and I'm going to go through some of the core mechanics, showing them with Adam. So here we are on round 1. Just pause for a second here, so I can show you the display. Here we have the timer, so you don't want that to run out. Here we have a amount of special attacks, which I will also go through, and here we have the health and the amount of lives, and if you have to have a second character there, that would go over on this side here. And so you go to the right, B to attack. As you can see, I'm attacking here. Very simple stuff. You can do the jump attack. So you can see Adam has quite a big kick for his jump attack. And you also have the special, but I've only got one of those, so I don't want to use it up just yet. You can also press B and C at the same time, although it's like there, it can be quite to do sometimes, where you do a back attack, you attack behind you, but I don't bother with it because I have trouble pulling it off. And although you've got nothing really to compare it with yet, based on the information that I've told you and the fact that I've only shown you Adam so far, Adam is quite slow. Also, every level has these little things that you can smash open to find items. Apples restore health, and you might also find turkeys and they restore your health even more. In fact, they restore them to full. And you can also find weapons along the way. So here we have this thing here. It's like a bottle, or at least it looks like a bottle. You hit it with someone, and or more like you hit someone with it, should I say, not to rearrange my sentences, and it breaks. And yeah, you got the go arrow telling you to go to the right. And here we have a... my mind's gone blank. What's it called? Is it a crowbar? It might be a crowbar. And then we have that guy there who has a... looks like a baseball bat. But yeah, if you get hit, you drop your weapon, and if you get hit so many times, the weapon will disappear. So yeah, now I've got the baseball bat here. I can smash up on these. Need some health. Also, there's a trick you can do where you can kind of like keep your enemies in a sort of infinite combo. Oh, now these enemies jump around a lot, so you want to be careful of those. What you can do is you can attack. Not like that. That's grabbing. But there's a trick you can do where you can just do a normal attack and then like not keep attacking, but like just hold it for a bit. See, like this? If you leave a little gap, it'll paralyze them for longer. And these are the same basic enemies you'll be fighting throughout the game, although there are other ones that will come up, as I think we're about to see here. Yes. She has a whip. Very, very kinky indeed. And even though you probably just missed it there, that weapon that I had was a knife. And knives can be thrown. Okay. Oh, a turkey, which I need for mine. to get my health all the way back up. Although it may be a chicken, I don't know. It just reminds me of Tekken 3 on Tekken Force mode when you pick up the chickens and it goes chicken. Now one thing that you can do, even though Adam's not very good at doing this because he is so slow, you can also grab your enemies by walking up to them like from below. Okay, here we have the boss. And you can see his health bar is under mine. Now's a good time as any to show you the special. If you press the A button, you will unleash the special. You have the police car come out and shoot out a rocket, and it'll attack every enemy on the screen. Now the second player's special attack does the same thing but has a different animation. The second player's, it's basically like a shower of bullets that come down. I'm not doing very well, by the way. I'm concentrating on both the game and explaining the game at the same time. If I press A again, because I lost a life, and you get one per life per level, so I should get another one after the end of this level once I've beat this boss, which is just then. And so, that's me having completed round 1. And you get a bunch of points, and if you build a point you can gather lives. Okay, now this is stage 2, and you can see the garbage flowing in the wind there. More of the same enemies here. Oh yeah, you can also get some money, and that just gives you points. And it's the same with gold as well. And you got like that, which is like a, I don't know if it's like a tear gas or something. It paralyzes your enemies if you throw it at them. And I'll just show off here the special attacking a group of enemies. Usually you'd want to save it for a large group, larger than that. And I just gained 50,000 points, so I got another life. Also, you can grab enemies, although it's harder to do with Adam because he's so slow. And in order to grab enemies, you have to like walk up to them. And because all attacks are horizontal, because you only attack left and right, the best way to grab them is to approach them from either above or below. See if I can, like that. And you can flip them if you grab them and choose and then attack them. See if I can, like that, see, you can grab them and do that. Then we have the little icon of all the characters, and they are extra lives. So yes, and eventually you will get like extra palette swaps of the characters, and they will. The palette swaps will be stronger. I do have to say though, I really love the atmosphere of this game. There's one level later on where you're on a boat, and then you've got the city landscape in the background, and I love it. I think graphically, even though this is like, you know, 16-bit Genesis days, this game is graphically really well done and really well themed as well. It really does have that city theme to it. Okay. Feels like I'm approaching the boss. Oh, and then we have these jugglers. I also want to mention that some bosses, some enemies in fact, but in most cases bosses can be a real nightmare to deal with. There's a point later on where you're on the boat level, and I really like that level appearance wise, but there's a point where you're on the boat level and the boss of that is two women who basically like a recolored version of Blaze, but they keep like they just jump all over the place, and it's really hard to like keep track of where they're going to end up. See, one strategy that you can do is, see there's like the turkey there, but I'm not going to pick it up just yet. I'm going to wait till I'm down on health a bit, so then I can use it to recover more health. And the jugglers can use their weapons as like to block. And as you can see, one of them is juggling axes and the other one seems to be juggling fire. I could do with that chicken now, actually. Yes. See, I could have done with saving my special until now, but I wanted to demonstrate it. Now we have the second stage boss. Now this is one of the bosses where it starts to get really awkward because he keeps like darting around everywhere. And so if you try to attack him, he'll just do that brushy thing and you won't be able to because he'll just get out of the way. And it's really annoying, and if you can, you do want to try to, if you can grab him, you want to try to make as much use of that as you can. But it seems as though my jumping attacks are just making him do that stupid dodgy thing. And oh, I lost a life, so I can reuse my special. Just to note, there are levels later on where you won't be able to use your special, and that's because of the location. You won't be able to. The police car won't have access to where you are, so they won't work. Yeah, it seems that jump attacks just aren't working at all. But you can't keep bosses in an infinite loop. But you can do what you can. And I've got another special attack, so I can use that. And will this kill him? Yep. So that's level 2 done. I'm not playing through the whole game. This is an overview, so I am just going to be talking about the mechanics and basically giving information on how things work. We have round 3, which is at the beach. So you've got the wave effects there. Also in this level you have like cans that roll around and they can be mistaken for items sometimes. Now we have those guys in the green costumes. Well, not so much costumes as just clothing in general. I'm not saying that again, no. Stop. Okay, see, like there we have like just litter around on the beach, and it could be mistaken for items sometimes. But check out that scenery, isn't it nice? Okay, I'm just going to pause that there. I'm going to end this current playthrough with Adam. I think I've gone through the basic rules of the game, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the main menu and I will show the other characters. So I'll see you back there. Okay, so we're back and now I'm going to show Axel. Axel, as you may remember, has good power but a bad jump attack and good speed. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, but Axel is faster than Adam. Don't know if you can tell just by looking. And attack-wise, he looks pretty much the same or very similar. He does a kick instead of an uppercut, but it's all just attacks at the end of the day. That's his back attack. There. But his speed is the most notable thing, and that makes it a lot easier to grab enemies because you can approach them from underneath. The enemies can outrun Adam more so than they're able to outrun Axel. But the biggest flaw of playing as Axel, and the reason I don't like playing as Axel, is his jump attack. Look at that. He attacks with his knee. So it's such short range, and when I was younger, I always had a problem with that because he isn't, because I was always a big fan of the jump attack, and I still am. Specials are always the same regardless of who you're playing as, but just playing as now I can feel that Axel is definitely faster. So it means that being able to grab enemies is a lot easier, because they're less likely to attack you. And also it's a byproduct of it's also a byproduct of the fact that you're able to get like underneath and above them easier. Like that. Also, generally don't run too far ahead because more enemies will also like reveal themselves. So for example, if I was to just keep running out like this, like over here, well, that probably wasn't a very good example, but you get the idea. Special, as you can see, is exactly the same regardless of who you're playing as. So yes, everything else other than those few things is pretty much exactly the same as what it was with Adam. Apart from the speed and the jump attack, pretty much. Okay, I'm gonna show you Blaze, so I'll see you back at the character select. Okay, so here we are back, and here we have Blaze. Good jump attack, good speed, but low power. And look at this, she's backflipping. Anyway, let's try Blaze out. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I prefer Adam or Blaze overall in general. She's got the same speed as Axel, which is good. Good for those grab attacks. And her jump attack is, as you can see, a full kick. Let's see if we can find a back attack, if I can do it. No, there's not. Ah, there we go. That kick. But the problem with Blaze, and the thing that she falls back on, is just her general power. Like if you try to keep attacking an enemy, she won't be as efficient with it. Sometimes she'll like pause a little bit. Sometimes she won't go through with a full combo. Sometimes she'll like stop and then have to like reset the combo. So choosing your character is basically all down to your preferred fighting style, I suppose. Now, a couple of things I want to mention before I end this. One of the things I want to mention is that there's different types of level with different types of things going on other than just the enemies. Like there's a level with conveyor belts and things to crush you. There's levels with like holes in the ground, so you need to avoid them. But also the holes are really good if you're able to throw the enemies into them. That can be really helpful. Also, without spoiling anything, the final boss, I'm not going to spoil exactly what happens, but I could put it one way by saying that if you do something wrong, if you do something one way, you'll get sent back a few levels. But if you don't, you'll just fight him there and then. And there's also quite a few differences if you're playing as two players as opposed to just the one. With the final boss, for example, you can actually disagree with each other and end up having to fight each other one-on-one. Or you can, again, be sent back a bunch of levels, or you can just fight the boss. So, yeah, that's one thing that's different about two players. Also, you can't both play as the same character, so you're going to have to decide. If you both have the same favourite, you're going to have to come up with a way of deciding who's going to be who. But also something noticeable about two players, and it is all cooperative, like, play by the way. So, yeah, one thing to notice is that everything is doubled. So any time where you would find like an apple, you'd find 2, and if you find a life, you'd find 2 lives. And yeah, I also forgot to mention you can find little icons that give you those special attacks as well. And everything's basically doubled. So it's not made easier overall by having 2 players. And also, just because there's 2 apples doesn't mean you both need to get 1 each. You can cooperate and decide that, oh, maybe one person needs it more than the other. So maybe if you've got 2 apples and one person's really low on health, you can let that person get both of them if the other person is on full health and they don't need it. However, there is one advantage, and that is that anything that's usually doubled in single player isn't doubled again in multiplayer. So with bosses, you will fight 2 as opposed to just 1 of the boss. But say if you've got a boss where you usually fight 2, for example on the port level with the two bosses that look a lot like Blaze but in black uniforms as opposed to Blaze's red, you fight 2 of those in single player mode. Good news for people who are playing 2 players, you won't fight 4 of them. It doesn't double again, you will just fight the 1 of them. Using my special here because I may as well. Also, just as a side note, and I realise this could cause some controversy between certain people, I prefer this game to Golden Axe. I think Golden Axe has some really bad control issues, and I really have problems with Golden Axe in that regards. Also, people like to think that Streets of Rage 2 is better than this. Streets of Rage 2 is like the best Streets of Rage game. I'm not sure, I've played this a lot more and I'm more accustomed to this. I just generally like this more, but that's probably based on a bias. I don't know. And don't get me wrong, Streets of Rage 2 is good, and it does have good settings and it does have good music, but I've always just preferred this. So anyway, that's everything on Streets of Rage for the Sega Genesis or the Mega Drive, depending on what region you live in. And so, I think that's everything I've got to say. So, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.